Now, the reason you're going to want to watch this is she has made an amazing transition in a big area of her life, in career, and she's going to talk about how she did that and the challenges and where she is now. And I think there's going to be a lot of learning from this. So. Namaste, goddesses. I am so glad you're here. It is Yogini Kala, and today I have something very, very special, actually, in terms of my channel. I have an interview, which you know I don't usually do interviews, but I am just so grateful that a former client of mine, and we're still, of course, completely interacting. Her name is Shefau, and I could do a big intro, but I want her to intro herself and share her story. So welcome, Shefau. I'm so glad you're here. You're taking time.
Thank you so much.
So
so I am a yogi and wellness coach, and it is my passion. Your coaching has certainly helped me to turn a light on in a dark room, to see where I'm going and find my way with the tools I already have. And I'd love to share how that helped me with others.
So Shefau, tell us a little bit about when I met you. You know, it hasn't even been that long, but you really have done some amazing changes. Tell us about where you were as an educator when you knew, you know, something had to shift.
Yeah. So I'm based in New Haven, Connecticut, where I spent most of my educational career. I've been working with children, either teaching in the classroom or writing curriculum for about 20 years.
Wow.
It was when I realized that I needed to take time to focus on myself, because I was pouring so much into my career and into an image that I had created based on who I thought I was supposed to be. When I realized I needed to make the shift inward, your coaching really helped. I was thinking about this yesterday. It's been about a year since I started following or watching your videos. And what really helped me pivot and open up was your chakra videos, where you went into detail and explained each individual one. Because at that time, when I started incorporating meditation into my personal practice to help me just overcome some significant challenges at work and personally as well. And so, you know, once I started incorporating some of the chakra healing into my own practice, it was the kind of thing that fit so naturally into my life. And as an educator, I felt obligated to share this with my own students. But some of the really concrete practices that helped me to stay calm during stressful situations, to help me stay present, I taught those to my students, and it really helped them a lot.
That's wonderful. But so Shefau, I just want to clarify, I mean, can you share a little bit more about what were the challenges for you as an educator?
So, you know, I'm working in elementary, in an urban school, under-resourced, you know, in addition to being under-resourced. When I don't just mean money, I mean understaffed. Sharing school counselors and psychologists and social workers with several other schools, sharing a librarian with other schools. This contributes to a lot of stress in the classroom, not just with students, but with the educators who are unable to really provide the best resources that we see children need. I was going through was a situation where I had a student who was particularly aggressive and unidentified, and therefore didn't receive the services that were necessary to support the student and what the student needs. You know, I'm a mom of a child with special needs, and you know, I'm not a physician, but you know, as a mom, as an educator, as a person who cares about my community, seeing this student deal with frustration in a way that was destructive, and having my hands tied and not being able to help, caused me to personally experience some really serious anxiety and personal injury. And so, you know, to speak about that and how it affected me as an educator, you know, this child doesn't have the services necessary. I'm thinking, okay, you know, I'm this great teacher, students love me. All I need to do is get closer to this child. And I did. And the closer I got, the more injuries I sustained. Yes.
Right.
And it was the stress of the physical injury. My ego is what got in the way, because my ego was like, oh, well, if this child is not responding to you, it's something that you're not doing in the classroom. It's something that you're not connecting with. Or, you know, there's no way a child could physically injure you this bad. It can't be as bad as you think. Keep pushing, keep going. And I kept pushing, I kept going until I was to the point where I was really like a shell of myself. You know,
Right.
I was missing meals to make up time, and I was not sleeping. I was diagnosed with PTSD around the time that we met, because I'm like, I'm a strong Black woman. I don't get PTSD. I just need to pray this away, or I need to really just think through this. Since my mind's got me here, my mind can get me out. But there was just a lot of me blaming myself. You saw me. I was not in the present moment. I was very worried about things that potentially could happen that never happened. I was very regretful of past decisions that I couldn't change. Your coaching helped me to stay present. It helped me to stay present, and you gave me specific strategies to help me just drop an anchor in the present moment.
Oh, I love that. I love that phrase. Drop an anchor in the present moment.
Yeah, you know me, my analogies.
So what did you notice when you joined the Goddess Group Coaching? What was the first change that you noticed, or the first impact that you saw in your life?
Yeah, so I came into the group wanting specific strategies to help me stay calm during tense moments, and then, you know, reacting and not responding. So your strategies helped me to really connect with my physical body, helped me connect with my breath, so that I could regain control of my breath. And then, you know, involuntarily, my breath is controlling my physical body. And so by gaining control of, you know, listening to my breath, the tense and release, the progressive relaxation strategy, stay present so that I'm not, you know, feeling these palpitations. You know, again, I'm no physician, but I was experiencing physical symptoms. The progressive relaxation that helped me to connect with my body and soften tense areas. That was a strategy I used that helped me stay calm. And it's something that was concrete that I brought to my students. That was one of the meditations.
And that was while you were still in school. So
I was still in school.
You were still teaching, but you knew you were transitioning out. And
I didn't know.
It helped you make that transition in a, you know, certainly in a calmer and just feeling better while doing transition. Yeah, I hear you. I remember, you know, you were under a lot of stress, and I just want to add that as a former, well, I'm still an educator really, but you know, my goddesses know that I taught in college, and so I went through very much the same thing, and that's why we really resonated.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're going to have a lot of teachers watching us, just so you know, who, like what I noticed also with you is that teachers make the best students. You really dove into the group, so I want to give you some credit here, because I really honestly knew you would succeed. I could feel it. And someone who, you know, as someone who wants to mentor women, you want to get women who, even if they're down at that point, you know, they have it in them to succeed. And like I said, I always felt that with you. I really did. I genuinely did. And so it feels good, because to see somebody, you know, you declared to me what you were going to do. You didn't know how, Shefau, exactly, but I saw you take all the steps. Tell us what happened. You then got into a program.
So your coaching really helped me to stay grounded, because I did know at that time that I wanted to leave the classroom to go into wellness full time. Didn't know how it was going to happen. I knew I didn't have the resources financially, but I knew I needed to do it, not to escape. I wasn't running. It was just something that I felt more drawn to. And so again, what you helped me do was pay attention to my body, listen to the thoughts that come to me when I quiet my mind. And that's when the name of my business came to me, Zenzilla Yoga and Wellness.
Really?
In those quiet moments, that's when visualizations came to me of, you know, how I would get through this last year in the classroom, knowing I wasn't, you know, I'm wrapping up.
Right.
And you know, that last year was tough because I had taught kindergarten for a long time and had jumped to 4th grade. Never taught fourth grade before. The inner child meditation that you did when we did the heart chakra, that reminded me to bring myself back to what it was like to be a fourth grader.
Really?
And so I went back and I listened to a lot of songs I listened to in fourth grade. I thought about my fourth grade teacher, just what it was like to be 9, 10 years old. And that really helped me to identify with my students. At this point, I don't even know if I'm answering your question, honestly. I don't even know if I'm answering your question. But I just wanted to make sure I put that in there about the inner child meditation, because that was
really deep work. Yeah, no, thank you. And actually,
I mean, I shed tears.
I'll put a link to a webinar that Goddesses you could check out, where I lead you in an inner child meditation. So Shefau, thank you for bringing that up. That's awesome. But so you tell us about that transition now. You got into this program,
right?
And then
so it helped me to not be so offended by things that were happening, even if they were offensive. It helped me to really change my perspective, like to really, instead of me looking at situations as them happening to me,
to you specifically,
shift my perspective so that I'm looking at it kind of like, this is as corny as it sounds, a bird's eye view,
right?
Where I can see what's down the road better than when I'm on the ground.
Exactly.
You help me
love that
really
metaphor.
lift myself from the ground. Another analogy, that caterpillar versus butterfly. When you're at a caterpillar, you can only see what's on the ground, but then once you go into yourself, into that dark space, once you go through that inner work, that transformation, and you emerge, you're a butterfly, you get that perspective, you get to fly, you get to see so many different. Saw this program for health leaders in New Haven. I thought about what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, how I wanted to bring wellness that helped me to my community at low cost or no cost. And so I applied. It was a program that is by amazing sisters who are graduates of Yale University, who started this program called CoLab New Haven, where they wanted to give opportunities to entrepreneurs. They like to help out entrepreneurs of color and entrepreneurs who are women and who are helping the community. And so I did this program for 10 weeks, helped me learn like nuts and bolts about the business, which I didn't know. I wasn't going to go back and get an MBA at this point.
No, and it's unnecessary.
Oh, that program, that was another opportunity. So what I did was started to say this dream out loud. And that was a fear that I held on to for a while. I had this image as a teacher for so long. Everybody knows me. I got students that are adults because I've been doing this for so long. You know what I'm saying? I'm shedding the old persona for this, my true self. And so there's a lot of vulnerability that I had to, be willing to give there. I reached out to 5 different area yoga studios to say.
Again, being resourceful. Because you didn't know how you would.
I had no idea. I knew I didn't have the money.
Expensive.
Yeah, it was cost prohibitive for me. I did not have the money. I reached out to 5 yoga studios in the area. 2 of them wrote me back. The both of them that wrote me back offered me 50%. And they were both the 2 that I would have wanted to ever participate.
Oh, that's amazing.
And I ended up going to an amazing program at the Breathing Room, again in New Haven, Connecticut. Shout out to them. They had a great program that included a section on racial diversity and inclusion in wellness, also on cultural appropriation in yoga, and honored and seen as a yogi of color.
That's really good. And I know that was challenging. At that point, you had finished coaching with me, with the group coaching aspect, but we touched base, and I know, folks don't know, but because I'm a yoga teacher as well, yoga teacher training is really challenging, you guys.
No joke. My yoga teacher training was an intensive. It was a 200-hour training. The days were 10 hours each, and there was a stretch of 10 days where we had the 10-hour days. And then there were weekends. But that 10-day stretch was physically grueling. It started, we had to be there by 7:45. It didn't end until 6 o'clock. We had to be very present. We had to be present. We had to learn all of the, anatomy, the history, the vocabulary, everything. in addition
Right.
to being able to teach it.
You're a mom, so you still you're got
Yes.
your home life, and
And the
your
wife.
husband is
Yeah.
there to help, but
Yeah.
you still had your kids to take care of.
Absolutely. And that was extremely difficult. And
Yeah.
I sustained an injury during that time. And it's so interesting. It wasn't a physical injury, but it was a stress related injury.
Okay.
And so I had to really listen to my body and not push myself, really let go of the other class, my other teammates are younger than me, or they're more whatever, like comparing myself at all. I had to really
Comparison.
not even compare myself to myself, just really get up and work with whatever I had from
Wow.
day to day and be present. And that's what your coaching really helped me to do, to stay
Wow.
present. I still try to, be strong and not, appear weak.
Yeah.
And I used to think that injury, was a sign of weakness. No, I'm listening to myself, and I'm great now. But
that's going to make you a better teacher,
thank you.
of a better yoga teacher, because then when you have somebody with an injury, you're going to be more compassionate, right? So
Yeah, sure.
that's fantastic. Do you have any advice for women who, this is after a long career, so at kind of our stage, say late 30s, 40s and up, who want to make a transition? Do you have any advice for women on how to do that with all the fear that comes up, and maybe the lack of support?
I can't say enough to listen to yourself. Know yourself by spending quiet time with yourself. I don't mean like me time, getting a manicure. I mean meditating. You gotta meditate, because when you meditate, that's when you really observe. When I observe my thoughts and I'm able to let them fade. I used to love the cloud analogy. That's where your cloud paintings resonated with me. So I would let my thoughts fade like clouds. And then that's when the inspiration comes. And so when that inspiration comes to you and you hear it so loud, nobody can tell you it's not there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
because it came from within you.
Nobody can tell you who you're supposed to be. So listen to yourself. That's what I can say more than anything. Listen to yourself, especially if there's any part of you that does something in the effort to appease another person. So makes any kind of move in an effort to make someone else comfortable. The way you wear your hair, if you change the way you wear your hair to be accepted or make other people not feel uncomfortable. If you decide you don't want to wear certain clothes because you want to make other people listen to yourself, because most of the time other people don't know what they want anyway.
That's true. That is very true. And also, to tag onto that, sometimes also we think people are paying attention to us more than they are, number one. Yeah. But what's the point of trying to make them happy? You're not even sure what's going to make them happy. They're not happy anyway, which is the deeper issue.
Right. Absolutely.
And here you are, especially as women, Shefau, right? I feel we really do that. We're like trying to make everybody happy. How can I change myself?
There's a lot of pressure on us to do that. And we're, it's really looked down upon to put ourselves first. And even like being selfish is really looked at as a really bad thing, when we really need to do for ourselves first. And I look at my meditation meeting in the morning, as soon as I wake up, that I'm never, I never miss. Right. If I'm not going to miss a meeting when I was working at the school, I'm not going to miss a meeting my principal calls. Why would I miss a meeting with myself? So
I love that.
Like listen to yourself, get to know yourself, fall in love with yourself, spend time with yourself, like the inside, that divine inspiration comes out.
How many kids do you have, and you managed to do that?
I have 3 children, 2 teenage boys, a 9-year-old daughter. My daughter has special needs. I've been married for 19 years. So
you don't get a day off from that.
And I'm more present at home, and I love it.
So Shefau, where can people get in touch with you? Maybe just, just a little bit of you're teaching in New Haven. And so how can folks find you?
My Instagram and Facebook is Zenzilla Yoga. That's Zenzilla Yoga.
Okay, and I'll put the links below
Yes, yes.
goddesses. So, I know you may not be in Connecticut. Who knows? She may start doing some regional and national. I don't know. I'm
Yeah,
intuitive. So, but
absolutely.
certainly if you have friends, family, or colleagues who are in that area, or Shefau, you're also now, are you willing to travel a little bit to work with groups?
I am willing to travel for sure in the region. And what I do want to say is the yoga that I do is something that I have designed that's very specific to Black people. I incorporate music because it's something that I like to do in my practice.
Okay.
And
Yeah, you have music.
I like to play with movement also. And so that's something where most of my students have never done yoga before. And so I
Right.
go back to my time as a student in a class where I didn't feel seen or I didn't feel comfortable. And I really do attempt to make each student feel comfortable and seen when they enter into the studio or I go to them. So I work with
Okay.
children, mommy and me, adults, all ages.
And
Check my
I
page
mean,
out.
so, but you will teach to so you're creating your brand. Yeah, you're creating a brand and incorporating elements, like cultural elements, but can anyone take most of your classes or?
Yeah, most of my classes are community classes, but I do some affinity work as well. So I do have offerings that are healing spaces to Black women and girls, but that's not all I offer. I certainly have community classes that are open to everyone. I have to shout out One Village Healing. One
Oh,
Village Healing in New Haven. They created the lane, a wide lane for me to really fly with what I created with my wellness programs. So please check out One Village Healing. Follow them, support them. They give this to the community for free. Many of what they offer, most of what they offer is no cost or
wow.
low cost.
Well, I
They
don't know,
give
how
me
do
a
they
salary so
survive
the
though?
community
I
doesn't
wonder how they survive. Not that, that's not a question for you, but that sounds beautiful. And though, so I have a diverse audience, and I think the women who watch my channel will understand that in, there are underserved communities, and especially in sort of the inner city. This is not to say that there aren't, suburban middle class African American women doing yoga, but you're really serving a population that is truly underserved and really will benefit from the yoga. So I really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
really
Because,
appreciate
I
that.
can't
And
ignore the health disparities that we
yes,
feel. And so
exactly.
I
And
try
so
to
the
do
women
that
who
how I
watch
can.
my channel are, will really appreciate that. So Shefau, thank you so, so much. I know we have to wrap up because you've got to go teach right now. I
Yes.
hope we're on time.
Yeah.
So I will put the links below, you guys, if you'd like to connect with her in terms of the work she's doing. Again, I just want to say for any woman who's considering the Goddess Group coaching, I really like to take women like Shefau who I just know have a fire within them. Like I said, I knew when she came into the group by her level of contribution and by her passion. So those are the type of women I'm looking for. So if that's you,
Yes.
do get in touch. It's not
you.
it's not a yeah.
Do it.
It's not a victim-y. I just don't vibe with you can be down, you can be anxious, you can be depressed, but I don't really vibe with a victim mentality, because I think as women, it's our time. The world needs us. And so I feel like both Shefau and myself, in different ways, our job is to help heal the planet. And so thank you, Goddess. Namaste.
Thank you. Namaste.
Yeah, have a beautiful day.